Hi folks, I was just doing some videos of one or two other knives that were in the Rockstead, Keogh and Incosi and stuff, and then I just put this little knife on the table, and I had to zoom right in because it looked so small and lost. But this is a beautiful, beautiful little knife. This is one that I will be carrying in my suit pocket. I always like to carry a knife in my left hand pocket of my suit or jacket. At least I'll be doing that when we're allowed out. We're not currently allowed out, so I've been taking the opportunity of carrying all the knives that I'm not normally allowed to carry because they're locked, or they have locks, or they're over 3 inches in length, and we can't really carry. But I can carry this any day of the week. So what is it? Well, it's a number 64 pattern, GEC. It's a Congress pattern, but it's a slimline, or I can't remember what they called it, slimline Congress or pocket Congress or something like that. One of the things I've never liked about Congress knives is, first of all, they've got 4 blades usually, which makes them a bit overly weighty, but also you generally have a big coping blade that sticks right up out of the knife. This is more like a traditional Sheffield gentleman's equal end penknife. Now, it's not an equal end penknife because it's in the Congress shape, and it's a curved back here, and the blade, one of the blade shapes is probably not normal. But in terms of size wise, this is I was going to say it's 3 1/4, but I'll be lying. It's over 3 1/2, 3 5/8 of an inch long, which is kind of big for a traditional pocket knife, equal end pen knife. You normally expect it to be about 3 1/4, so it's about 1/2 inch longer. Still a small little knife, and if you've got big hands like me, it's always going to be a little knife. But this is a special edition. It is in black canvas micarta with the, I think that's called the Cloud Shield. This is an SFO for a guy called Mike Keogh. Mike Keogh has a business called, get the light on it, Mike's Knives. Now that bird is a bird of Cornwall, I believe, and Mike is based in Cornwall in the southwest of England, and he is Britain's only authorised GEC dealer, and he had, I believe, about 100 of these knives made, and when I bought this one, I think he had about 80 in stock, and I got sort of a heads up from Paddy. So the main blade on this is a Warncliffe with a nice swedge on it. This is Tidiot style, which I think is the ideal for a carry knife. The posher ones with all the shiny blades and things are maybe a wee bit over the top. But so basically we've got Tidiot cutlery on there. On the other side we have the pattern number 620220. So lots of 2s in there. 62 is the pattern. In fact, I think I called it 64 at the beginning of the video, but it's 62 pattern. People were probably shouting at me. O being Warncliffe, the main blade shape. 2 being it's got 2 blades. We'll come to that in a second. And 20 because it was made in 2020, this year. Because I'm assuming you're watching it now, but you may be watching this video in a month or years to come. So yes, this is this year 2020, and we're in June 2020 at the moment. So we've got this really nice, really sharp little Warncliffe blade. It's a great little carving blade or something like that. Also makes a great little EDC blade. Now I tend to go, my sort of chosen pattern shape for an EDC blade tends to be the lamb's foot. It's a very traditional Sheffield one. You can see this one. I mean, I'm using this at the moment. Not got a very straight edge on it, which that's unfortunately the way it came. I'll try and straighten that up as I sharpen it. But what's the difference between a little lamb's foot and a little Warncliffe? I mean, not a lot really. It's just about whether or not this comes down to a sharper point, or whether you've got more of a corner at the top of here. But in many other respects, they're very similar styles of blade or knife, and have very much similar capabilities. Obviously, the Tales Eyewitness one's just a little bit bigger. While I'm on the question of size, I'll just give you a wee comparator here, which is the Swiss Army Pioneer X, which lives in my bag every day. Very slightly longer than the Pioneer X, and the Pioneer X obviously has a taller blade. It's also a slightly heavier blade than the GEC, but it's a beautiful little cutter. The GEC, you could use that as a little scalpel if you had any emergency operations to do. And if that blade is dull and you want a second one, now, as I say, the action on this knife is a bit soft. I mean, the half stop is lovely. I mean, you probably heard that. Springs into the half stop. But listen to this. Do you hear that? No, you don't hear that because there's nothing to hear. That into the fully open position is just not good. GEC, no. Yeah, the half stop's lovely. And when I fold it completely, ow, it's very sharp on that tip, and I'm trying to do this through the camera. Big mistake. Here we go. Nice click on that when it closes. That's great. So if you do need a second blade, if you've run out of sharpness and the wee carbide tank has run low, we've got a little pen blade in here, which has a much better action to it. Little pen blade with a wee reserve tank of extra sharpiness. Let's give that a quick wipe because it had all sorts of gubbins on it. Now it's Tidiot finish, so it's not Northfield perfection, but it's very, very good. Very, very nice. GEC on the tang and carbon or car on the other side. So nickel silver bolsters. We have black linen. Half stops are lovely. It's just a shame. Well, the spring's a bit proud in the half stop. It's just a shame that the main blade is very soft on the opening. Now, when you look at the back, it's an interesting construction, and you've got two brass liners on one side, a single spring, and one brass liner on the other. That's just to even it up because you've got two different sizes of blade on this side. Personally, I think the two brass liners and the one brass liner it doesn't quite look right to me. I'd prefer to see it with one on each side. I assume that it needs to be like that to make everything fit. In terms of fit and finish, GEC are legendary for beautiful smooth fit and finish, and they get that right. What isn't quite so hot on this one is these pins here. The middle pin is lovely, but the ones at either end are sunken a little bit into the scale, so you can feel them quite distinctly. Now we start getting to this time where we're starting to say that if there's a GEC blade, a GEC knife, that it's going to be absolutely perfect in every single way. And I have to say this one is very nice. I'm very pleased with it. I've certainly not been sending it back or anything like that. But it isn't perfection. It's very good, but it isn't perfection. It's not as good as, for example, fit and finish on these shings that I've just done a video on, nor is it as good a fit and finish as my PK70s, which are absolutely exemplary. I mean, there's a different design in that you've got these screws, so you can feel these screws because they're take out screws. But in terms of if you want a pin knife, this is a pinned knife, and the pins are absolutely, you know, if I couldn't see them, I wouldn't know where they were. Certainly can't feel them. Now, you're probably going to say, yes, Eric, but you've got crap hands. Of course you can't feel them. Well, the way I feel them is I do it with the edge of my lip. Because it actually, you know, my injury is neck down, not neck up. So I can feel things. It's true, I can't really feel my hands properly, but unfortunately with this GEC, I can feel these pins even in my hands. That one's pretty good. But, well, you can see that one. It's slightly lower than the scale. And that one. And that one. The back ones, the ones for the spring, absolutely fine. Absolutely. And the ones in the bolsters, well, you had to know that there are pins in the bolsters. If you didn't know it, you wouldn't see them. There's nothing to see, which is the way it should be. The only thing that actually is sort of a little bit of a concern is this action. I say the half stop action is lovely, but when you go to the full open, I'll shut up while I do it. You hear that? So the half stop, slightly proud spring. See, I can't, there's nothing to click. It just doesn't click. So there's a bit of a shame. But I like this knife, and when we get let out of here, this is a knife that will definitely be finding its way into my suit pocket. Obviously I've got so many knives, it won't be the only one I'll be carrying, but I will be carrying that often. That'll be the thing when you know, when I'm wearing a suit out and about in the world. That's what will be in my pocket. So, thank you very much for watching this. If you enjoyed it, please put the thumbs up. I mean, you're mad. Can't understand why you would, but if you do. And if you want to see more of this stuff, please click the subscribe and remember to ring the bell if you want updates. So, thank you very much for watching. Speak to you again soon. Bye.